Time part 2. You can watch this one without watching the other one. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna go into stuff. It's a self-standing video. Time is motion. Motion is directional. I'm going to add here that we need to talk about center. It's my centric theory. If we don't know where the center is, we don't know where we're moving from. We can't possibly find out directions. So therefore, somehow, we need to do an analysis of what's going on in this universe that we live in. So astronomy totally factors in, whether or not it's astrophysics, but I'm talking about mapping. We need to have a super accurate map somehow of the universe. Remember Time Bandits? Actually, some of that stuff in there was a little bit serious. It's a comedy movie, but if we have a map of the universe, it shows us a maze. And if we develop this further, I'm predicting that it's going to have a pattern. Maybe you could call it a fractal or something like that. And you're going to have to see where all the solar systems are and where the galaxies are. And then you're going to have to see where black holes are. Is there a black hole at the middle of every formative galaxy? And then you have like these crazy things that are not really, they're chaotic. Is it a galaxy, or what is it? Is it a stellar cloud or something? They say that's where the stars are born. Map those out. What about wormholes? What are they? Can we map that out? And second of all, there's two more items, and I believe one is more important than the other, but they're called quasars and they're called pulsars. You take your guess as to which one's more important and which one I want to correlate with black holes. Now, take into consideration all of these items that are out there. These are major pieces in some kind of a chessboard. This is like things in movement, and they have force against each other. Forget about the distance. They are affecting each other across these huge expanses. Call it space. But we have to learn what is the shape of space, what is the fabric of it, and then we're going to understand directional. We've seen lots of science fiction movies and that shows space travel. I'm not exactly talking about space travel necessarily. That's secondary. I'm talking about time travel in not spacecrafts, but time crafts. How can it be done? I've said a long time ago, probably the first video was like 2006, that I didn't believe time travel was possible. Not for this earthbound humanity. I do not think that there's any way that we can withstand it and still live. So therefore, why am I talking about this? Is it practical or just totally theoretical and can never be proven? Well, I'm leaning more towards that last part, but as I said, these are good thought exercises to try to fit yourself within the mystery of the universe, because it is very mysterious. How does it all get like this? And even time itself. Can we stop it? Can we escape from time? That's what I mean by stopping it, because I think it's impossible to stop time for everything and everybody. But is there some way to remove yourself from the mechanism of it, from the field of time motion? Is there a way, as I said, the essential bottom line here, to make yourself stay in a motionless point, a center, where everything rushes away from you in the direction that it's going? Say goodbye to everybody else, because you will never be with them again unless you can move. But here is an interesting catch. Wouldn't it be easier to stay in one place in the universe rather than exert tremendous energy and force to catch up with something or travel somewhere? Isn't it actually easier just to stay somewhere and maybe it'll just come to you? So that's a twist on space and what's motion for. What would happen if we did remain motionless with some kind of a time craft? Because I believe this is a key. This is the only way to escape time. And I don't know if you can completely escape time, even if you could come up with this craft and calculate all the directions that you would have to move to cancel out. What would it be like? I would suggest this, that time would start to slow down. Everything around you might be experiencing hundreds of years of time passage. And in your zone that you've created artificially or intentionally, might just be a moment or a minute, and everything else is rushing away to wherever it's going. Call it natural motion, call it just what we're in the middle of, what we're caught up in, because of the movements of planets and solar systems. Now let's talk about solar systems itself. We say, and it's a completely accepted theory, it's a huge assumption, but we have a lot of evidence for it. All the stars that you see out there, it's just commonly accepted as other suns, saying there's a little bit of a shadow of a doubt there.